Pony Fantasy V, Exodus of the Void, by G.M. Blackjack. Chapter 16, City of Man. Pinky and Twilight's brains stopped working the moment they left the Valeran and set foot on the great airborne city. The place was just too big for their little equine brains to comprehend. In addition to the circuitry and giant turning gears alongside the magical conduits, there were entire skyscrapers lining the city, from the ground to the ceiling, from the ceiling to the ground, and even a few floating without any connection to the city proper at all. Granted, some of the buildings were completely ruined, demolished by an unknown force, or simply taken by extreme age. The technology used to build this place was beyond them. Plus, there was the fact that this was apparently the city of man, meaning Twilight had to also cope with Lyra being right all along. It was a bit difficult to process. Applejack, Rarity, and Rainbow Dash were completely fine, though. To them, it was just another landscape to cross after the initial surprise was over. Ramu appeared, stretching his arms. Good to be home. Shiva and Ifrit stood alongside him. Shiva said, frowning. It's become rather run down and underwhelming. No dudes here. Ifrit huffed. Is Ramu not good enough for you? Pfft, I already had my fling with him eons ago. Old news. Ramu shrugged. I could care less. Now, equines. The Earth Crystal is in danger. The central power room is in the center of the city. You are the guardians of the last crystalline one of this world. It would be best if you made haste. Applejack, Pinky, and Twilight nodded. Let's do this. They trotted ahead, taking point. Rainbow Dash would have continued on, but Rarity held her back. Rainbow Dash, Rarity said, holding up the pendant. This one isn't mine. You have mine. Rainbow Dash blushed. No I don't. Yes you do. Please give it back. She sighed. Rainbow Dash quickly looked to make sure the others weren't looking, and handed the pendant back. There. Happy? Rarity shook her head. Not really. Where did you get yours? Nowhere, Rainbow Dash said, obviously uncomfortable. You had it with you when you were found by Spike, didn't you? No. Rainbow, Rarity sighed. It's easy to put two and two together. You were white when Spike found you. You have the pendant of the House of Luna. You're really awkward around me. I know you've figured it out. You are not my sister, Rainbow Dash yelled, and you never will be! And she took off after the others, fast as her wings would carry her. Rarity was a bit taken aback. She had not been expecting something that violent. And had she been crying right there? Sweetie, I found you, Rarity said. Then she sighed, looking down at the pendant. And then I lost you. She adjusted her crown, steeling her emotions, and continuing on after the others. Hurry it up back there, Applejack yelled. A lady can't rush her adventuring, Rarity retorted. The crystal ponies had gathered, looking over the edge of their crystal and seeing the city of man beneath them. They were very confused and frightened. Their home was no longer hidden. It was right in the open. They could be attacked. They were much more concerned with the fact that they were no longer secret than the fact that they were several miles in the air. Possibly the thin air was affecting their thought processes. Lyra and Bonbon had managed to come here. In the chaos, what remained of Cadenza's government had forgotten about them. The two were looking down at ground that was far beneath them. Hey look! I can see Uniforge. I think that's my house. Hey house! Bonbon blinked. There's a crater the size of this city in that one. That's where the fire crystal blew up, Lyra said, cheerful demeanor dented by the reminder. Bonbon frowned. The Earth crystal's the last one, isn't it? Yeah, it's inside the City of Man. City of Man? Bonbon cocked her head. Your crystal empire is placed on top of the ruins of the civilization of the race that came before us. Humanity. Lyra smirked. I've been studying them most of my life, but everyone dismissed them as legend. But now I know the truth. All those designs and ancient texts in the bottom of the Library of Ancients, those were human texts, not old pony or cadenza texts. She frowned. If what I read was right, and this X-Death spirit is using the same plot to destroy the Earth crystal... Her eyes widened. We need to take control of the city or we're going to fall to the ground. What? Bonbon said, obviously frightened. The city runs off the Earth crystal's power, and the moment that power is shut off, or the crystal is destroyed, we become one of the heaviest objects around. We'll fall like a rock. We have to get down there. Bonbon bit her lip. But how are we going to do that? Lyra looked over at the crystal ponies around them. Some were Pegasi. Okay, bird brains, Lyra yelled. I need to get into this flying city's control center so we don't crash into the ground. Who's up to flying us down there? One of the guards walked up to them, nodding. I am Flash Sentry. I'll take you down. Let's go, Lyra smirked, grabbing onto Bonbon. Time for an adventure of our own. Oh, my... Bonbon said, not able to articulate her desire to stay in the Crystal City, as Flash Sentry flew down to the City of Man proper, Lyra guiding them through with her hoof to where she thought the controls would be. The 5 mares were galloping to the large building in the center of the City of Man, glowing with intense golden and neon blue energy. It cast the entire block around them in an eerie glow. Shadows danced around the buildings, giving the illusion of monsters waiting to pounce, when in reality there were almost no living beings within the City of Man, a mostly desolate collection of structures and ancient technology that was barely functioning. You know, Applejack said, this doesn't look like the only thing that makes power. I saw a lot of similar things on the top and bottom of this city. Twilight nodded. The power's being rerouted so that it only comes from here. X-Death is trying to destroy the Earth crystal by severely overtaxing it. I'm surprised it lasted this long. Pinkie Pie nodded. Earth is known for being very resilient. It is weakening, though, Twilight said. It sent a message to the Valeran when we were pulling in. It hasn't been able to contact us since. The 5 mares charged through the main doors into a large hallway. The sight before them was impressive. Queen Luna was fighting with all her might against a gigantic machine. It was vaguely snake-like, pulsating with all the power of the Earth crystal, glowing a deep amber. It roared, attacking Luna with all manner of sharp objects and energy beams. It was evident she was losing. Luna noticed the 5 mares. "Assist me!" she yelled. "The evil has made the Guardians serve it! We must get to the Earth crystal!" Rarity nodded. "Of course, Mother." She cast protection spells on her party and Luna, then drew the bow she acquired on Crescent Island. "Let's do this." There would be time for reunions later. The Guardian shrieked, firing spears of metal at all the ponies, only to have Pinkie catch them in midair and drive them into the ground. "You've just been ninja'd, Snake!" Rainbow Dash focused her energy and fired bolt after bolt of electricity at the Guardian, while Applejack went berserk and pounded the thing with her now enchanted sword. The Guardian ate the sword, throwing Applejack for a loop, both figuratively and literally. Twilight caught the farmer in her telekinesis, setting her down gently before blasting the Guardian with a magic laser. That did next to nothing. "My word!" Rarity exclaimed. "We're not doing much of anything to it." Luna growled. "It is the guardian machine of mankind. Of course it's difficult to damage. That's the point. Pinky frowned. I have an idea. Ramu, Ifrit, Shiva, take it down. Feel the hellfire! Ifrit roared. Fire, electricity, and ice, impacting the Guardian from all angles. It roared in annoyance, lashing out with machine gun turrets that lined its body. I forgot he could do that, Shiva said as she dissipated. I never thought old Fido would turn against us. Ramu frowned as he was taken away. It is most peculiar. Fido the Guardian rushed the ponies, only to find itself slowed by Rarity. Okay, that works. Slow arrows work. That's good. Rarity smiled. Good. Now what? Rainbow Dash flapped her wings, filling them with the power of fire, torching the Guardian. Yeah, that's not working. She decided to change strategies to healing, helping her friends survive longer. Twilight frowned. It's a machine. Therefore, there must be a way to take it apart. She focused, encasing the slowed Guardian in her telekinesis. It struggled, but she was able to work with it through the slowness. She ripped out a large and important-looking component. The Guardian fell to the ground. Ha! Twilight yelled. Gotcha! Pinky frowned. No. The part regenerated before their eyes, and the Guardian flew back into the air, spiking Rainbow Dash through the chest. Rarity quickly healed the Pegasus, but she was in shock and wouldn't be back in the fight for the next few minutes. Luna started laughing. This is the true power of the crystals. No, Rarity yelled. We are the true power of the crystals. She yelled, firing arrow after arrow at the machine, most bouncing off harmlessly. The great snake slowly slid towards her, closer and closer. Luna blasted the snake with a powerful burst of shadow energy, knocking it into a wall. The Guardian roared, charging the Queen, only to have Pinkie Pie appear between them and smash a cake into the metallic maw. It's a perfect day to bake a perfect cake! The Guardian raged, only to have Twilight hit it with one of its own blades. That worked. Girls, hit it with itself. Okay, Pinkie said, producing a miniature version of the Guardian out of nowhere and beating the larger one with it. Then she somehow suplexed the Guardian while in mid-air. Take that! Rarity fashioned some rudimentary arrows out of the spears the Guardian had produced, piercing the skin of the mechanical beast. It roared in agony as its own metal became entangled in it. Twilight raised a spear with her telekinesis and thrust it into the important-looking part. The Guardian ceased functioning instantly, falling to the ground with a thunk. The mares and Queen Luna rushed past the fallen Guardian, Rainbow Dash trailing behind. They entered the Earth Crystal's room, its impressive girth floating in the middle, power flowing into the machine above and below. You have been fooled. Queen Luna is possessed by the evil. The 5 mares gasped in shock as Queen Luna began to cackle uncontrollably. Well, shame on you, Earth, for ruining the surprise. Too bad it's the last thing you will ever do. You are destroying the world. What is your reasoning? You want more than to just be free. You don't get to know. Die in confusion. Luna blasted the Earth Crystal with a blast of energy, and was obviously irked when it didn't shatter immediately. You should be dead now. I am the strongest of the crystals. Your attempts are meaningless. Applejack, Twilight, and Pinkie Pie charged Luna, but Rarity tried to stop them. No, not Mother! Weakness, the evil said, smirking. You cannot hope to stop me. I am too important to all of you. Ha! Warriors of light. You are all weak. She turned to glare at the Earth Crystal. And you are doomed. And you know it. Your assessment is correct. My physical body is failing. Then why all this delay? What's the point with staying just a little longer if it's hopeless already? For the safety of those in the city. Is this thing on? Lyra's voice yelled over the communications systems. Lyra? Twilight yelled in response. Oh, hey Mom. Don't you worry. We're working on landing this thing safely. Give us a few minutes. The evil, the nightmare, growled. Fine. Save your city. Your world is doomed anyway, and your time is up. Luna raised a hoof and hit the earth crystal directly. It didn't explode. It simply crumbled into fine crystalline dust, with a few shards left over. One went to each of the 4 warriors of light. Applejack felt great agility fill her. Rarity felt chemicals fill her. Rainbow Dash felt the power of a dragon, and Pinkie Pie suddenly had the urge to dance. The nightmare laughed. Your new powers are useless. My seal is broken! A burst of shadow energy flew out of Luna's body, and her eyes returned to normal. She slumped to her knees. Mother! Rarity yelled. Mom! Rainbow Dash echoed, the two running to their fallen mother. My girls, Luna said sadly. It's so good to see you again. The shadow that had left Luna began to take a shape, a great shadowy power coalescing now that it was truly no longer sealed. 2 legs formed, followed by a torso and 2 arms. A great head appeared as the shadowy body was encased in light blue armor with gold accents. A great head became covered with the thick, menacing helmet. A human! Lyra yelped, grinning. Close, the being said. I am X-Death, the bane of humanity, and now it's time for all of you to die. He raised his hand high, a golden weapon appearing in his hand. He thrust it towards Pinkie. Luna tackled the demonic being to the ground, her eyes glowing in intense white. You have doomed this world and tore families apart. For that crime you shall be executed by my hoof. She drove her horn into X-Death's head, rushing as much magic as she could muster into the humanoid's body. X-Death roared in agony, stabbing Luna in the chest with his weapon. Luna said, her courage and intensity gone. She slumped to the ground, blood pooling around her. Mom! The 2 yelled, rushing to her. Rarity, Sweetie, no, Rainbow Dash. I couldn't be leaving the world in better hooves. Her 2 children were crying. No! Rainbow Dash yelled. So much! I've lost so much! No more! I'm sorry, Luna said. Forgive me for not being there. Oh, look at the heartwarming reunion. I'm touched, X-Death snarked. You unfortunately are going to die. Next! The entire city started shaking. Something very large had just hit the side and was rapidly approaching the center. Oh, second thought. I think I'll just let the meteorite crush you. X-Death laughed. Enjoy being crushed by your own daughter, Pinkie. He teleported away. Pinkie tensed. Oh no. Luna grunted. I'm not dead yet. She roared with all her remaining energy, her horn flashing a deep, brilliant blue. She reached out to the incoming meteor ship, acting on it with her impressive telekinesis. She just needed to slow it down. The meteor crashed through the wall of the Earth Crystal's room, bearing itself over the ponies, but it came to a rest. A door flipped open, and a yellow Pegasus with a pink mane and butterflies for a cutie mark stepped out of the meteor. Pinkie Pie gasped. Fluttershy? It all came rushing back to her at once. Her memories, her life, her time as an ancient hero. She grinned. Fluttershy! You got your cutie mark! Oh, I'm glad to see you! She embraced her daughter. Luna smiled, her last memory being that of a mother and a daughter being reunited, and her own daughters holding her tight. She didn't know how, but she knew everything was going to be fine. She let out her last breath with a smile on her face. Hate to break this up, but Lyra paused. We haven't regained control of the city yet. We're falling. We're going to crash if we don't do something soon. Maybe it's in poor taste to do this now, but when did Luna figure out Rainbow Dash was her kid? Seriously, I don't recall any point where either she or X-Death would necessarily have learned that information. And even if X-Death knew, it seems a little odd that that would mean she knew. I wouldn't assume he'd tell his possessee all his plans. How did she know Rainbow Dash was Sweetie Belle? Oh, right, she shouted Mom. Okay, how did she know Rainbow's real name? Yep, I just looked back and Rainbow Dash has never been spoken in Luna's presence. Ever. It was just really weird to me, that bit. I mean, Rarity knows, but Luna doesn't. Weird. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye, everyone.